Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, March the 30th, 2023. Thursday, March the 30th. Now, I'm not going to talk too long because I'm going to be coughing my head off. Today was one of those days, y'all. Anyway, and I'm sure you can hear it, when I breathe in, I'm a little congested here. But anyway, let's get to business. I have to get to this business first and foremost. Cuteness in the hospital. Cuteness was in the hospital. With the they put a little rosiness on the cheeks and the little, oh, turned out it was colic, you know. Esme was worried because he's extra fussy. He didn't, even though he didn't need to eat, he didn't need his diaper changed, and it ended up being colic. And I'm like, I remember those days, mother of four, but there were certain things that you do to help that. Burp them real good after you feed them. See, did anybody teach her? Burp them real good. And when you go out, cover their faces. Don't let all that wind get in there because they're sucking it in and that's giving them colic. See, she's hipping that baby like he's one, no socks, no hat on his head in it's wintertime. But today, everybody, Cuteness had socks on. I made sure I found the scene that showed his little feet and he had socks on. I said, it's about doggone time. Socks on that baby. Where's his jacket? We have Esme in her jean jacket. Spencer's in a jacket. The baby barely had a blanket thrown. What is this? Come on now. Cuteness gonna be back in the hospital a whole lot more if he's not dressed properly, right? So anyway, Austin let her know he doesn't hold against her what Ava did to, not Ava, my goodness, Heather did to him. So he doesn't hold that against her, which is good. And Spencer, they snipe at each other so much. But Spencer was telling her, listen, he's like, grandmother seemed to think he's okay. She's like, well, I don't feel he's okay. Right. And Austin's going to give her a little something for the colic. Then she had to fill out the health forms, and Spencer, she goes, here, you take care of this part about the money. So Spencer's paying for the visit, which of course he would. He's a Cassadine. They got money. That baby don't need to be on Medi-Cal. They got some money, or Medicaid, depending on what state you're in. And Spencer ends up leaving her there. He says, I got something I got to take care of. She goes, wait a minute, wait, what? He goes, but you're going to have to stay here till I get back. She said, but you're all right. He said, exactly. The doctor hasn't gotten back here with, I guess, Ace's little prescription and everything. So I'll be back. This will be real short. And she's like, oh. So she goes out. She goes, hey, Ace, what do you think if we go on and go to hit the vending machine up, right? So she hips him, and they're going to the vending machine, and Ava's getting off the elevator. Now Ava was speaking to Felicia early at I guess that's the PC Grill, and she was saying, yeah, everything was cool, but Esme has never paid for what she's done at all. She came there with the specific purpose of destroying Ava's life, and ruining her marriage. So anyway, that was the deal with Esme. Oh, and Esme tells Spencer, listen, we're gonna have to get along better than this. Because I mean, I like the fact you're Ace's brother, you should be in his life, but it's not good for him if we're constantly bickering. Spencer looked at her. Oh, is that a threat? And looking her dead in her eyes. And she goes, no, I'm just saying he picks up on, he he'll pick up on the tension. And we need to get along better, for his sake. And so Spencer looked at her and he goes, we see things differently. Spencer's being a true Cassadine. So Well, anyway, Esme just looks like, well, goodness, right? So now let's see what, oh, we've got meaningless talk between Jocelyn and Trina. Trina's trying to find out, what's going on in Jocelyn's life, because Jocelyn's like, are you going to the nurses' ball with Spencer? She goes, no, Spencer's going to be there, and we're going to meet each other at the nurses' ball, but we're not going together at the nurses' ball. And Jocelyn's like, why? What happened? Spencer being Spencer. See, I don't like all of that little stuff. What happened, Josh? Dex get shot again? Did he get shot again? Right? Hmm? He got to work. He got a bodyguard. What's happening, Josh? Shut up, Jocelyn. So anyway, she told Trina that yes, she's seeing somebody, but she couldn't tell her because it's a very delicate situation. And she did not, it's just best that right now, she can't say anything. And in my mind, I would have looked at her and said, girl, you're not seeing one of the professors, are you? Look, that's the really undercover. You dating a professor, a married one now. So anyway, and guess what's the first time we heard Jocelyn mention she did switch to pre-med. And she goes, I've got a lot of study, because Trina's like, I haven't hardly seen you at all. Well, since I switched to pre-med, I've got a lot of studying to do. And I'm thinking, girl, I ain't seen you crack not one book. Pre-med. Now look, when Kiki went pre-med, oh, that girl was a walking book. And she had her flashcards. She had Jocelyn, every chance we get before Dex said you can't come back over, she was always in the sack with him. She didn't study nothing, So anyway, we have Eileen. So look, she wasn't swimming with the fishes. No. She was actually going to become fish food. Dex saw her floating in the harbor because Sonny put it up to Selena to find out, the name of the person, since it was her establishment that he was seen at. And she couldn't get his name, but they found out where he stayed, and this is his belongings and blah, 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 So Sonny tells Dex, we're going to take the bag back to the office and open it up there. And that's when Dex said, boss, there's a body in the water. And he takes off his shoes. Now, mind you, he still has his pants and his shirt on. He's jumping in. But when he pulled Eileen out of the harbor, Dex didn't have a shirt on. And I'm thinking, when did you have time to take that shirt off? Because you took your shoes off, and then it showed you jumping into the harbor. Okay. So he brings Eileen's body out, lays her down onto the pier, and he takes her hair out of her mouth. And Sonny's like, oh, that's the deputy DA. I mean, the deputy mayor. And Dex is like, wow, boss, wow. And so I'm looking, they got her, she's laid out. And I said, well, what happened to Eileen's shoes? She's laid there with no shoes on her feet. And I'm thinking, now that was a rough fall, right? It knocked the shoes right on off her feet. So so he has Dex get out of there, probably with that bag. And Sonny waits for Jordan. And he answers the questions. And he's, like I was taking a walk here on the pier. Saw the body. Got her on out of there. And I'm thinking, but Sonny, you don't look wet. And we know you didn't do it because you never go anywhere without a bodyguard. But I guess it didn't matter. He got the body out and he called the cops. And Jordan's like, did you have anything to do with this? And he just looked at her. He goes, you know what? I have told you what happened. And I'm the one that called you. Like, hello, Dumbo. If I had anything to do with this, I wouldn't even be here. It'd have been some passerby. Ava on her way to Spoon Island would have saw the body. I mean, come on now. So Sonny she just looked at him like, yeah, I know that was a stupid question. I don't know why the writers wrote that. Look, I should have said, why you having me ask him this? Because this is ridiculous, right? So he goes, okay, so you got to give me something. No, he didn't say that. Laura comes up and Laura's talking to Jordan. Jordan has to go make a phone call. Laura comes back to Sonny and she goes, look, Anna and Valentine need to know that Eileen is dead because Victor is on to us or onto them and they are in danger. I need you to handle this, Sonny. And he's like, got you covered. So she then goes to Eileen, I'm not Eileen, Jordan, and she goes, Jordan, what do you have on this? And she goes, well, I mean, the autopsy hasn't been done. I mean, they're going to look to see if she drowned, because there'll be water in her lungs, which, let's face it, she drowned because she was very much alive when Victor pushed her off that bridge, right? She goes, but the coroner is saying she has a broken spleen, a broken all kind of stuff, a bunch of broken stuff. It says indicating she fell from a high place. I'm thinking, doy, the footbridge, everybody else jumps and falls off of there or falls off of there. So anyway, Laura's like, keep me informed. And Laura was like broken up about it because let's face it, they forced Eileen to do that, right? Yeah, they did. Pressured her, scared her witless. Witless. But you know what? Victor was always going to kill her when he was done with her. That was the truth. That chick was never going to live. Not at all, right? So Anna and Valentine are worried about Eileen. Anna's cleaning her gun, getting ready, and I'm thinking, you know what, you guys? Now, Jason Morgan taught me this, and I don't ever go on the run. But you know one thing Jason Morgan taught me? Never stay in a safe house more than 4 days. You must rotate where you stay. Anna's all but growing a garden, a vegetable garden at this safe house. They all but put a home sweet home sign out there, right? And I'm sorry, have they even noticed Lucy is gone? Did they may have, because I haven't been feeling well, y'all. I don't know. Did they say Lucy's? I think they did notice Lucy's gone. But they know, wait, look, how we gonna go look for her? How we gonna do it? Whatever, Lucy, right? Or do they know? Come on, comment corner, somebody write down, did they notice Lucy's gone? Because I can't remember, right? So anyway, Laura's feeling kind of bad that, oops, yikes, civilian down. But you want to know who they're not going to feel bad for? Lucy. Because see, civilian down, that's why Anna was moving heaven and earth, for one, to clear her name, but two, she knew she brought Lucy into this, right? So she got her out. Lucy has now thrown herself into danger all on her own. And so be it, Lucy. So now, Drew knocking on the door, knock, 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 knock. And they got their guns ablazing, and I open the door and it's Drew. Okay. Laura sent me. I think Laura sent him. She wanted me to let you know, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and Victor Cassadine is missing. And so is Eileen Ashby. I went to her apartment, none of her stuff was taken. And they're like, look, if you're going to do a fast getaway, you don't really take a lot of stuff. He goes, no, she had a dog there, a very hungry and a very thirsty dog there. And I could tell she really loved this dog because of all the toys and all the look. Her dog probably had sweaters like my dog. My little Oliver got his little green sweater on now. Little doggy sweater and doggy bed and doggy, everything a dog don't need, the dog has, right? Because now look, my Oliver does love his sweater, because we think, oh, dogs love clothes. Why would a dog love clothes? But you know what? In the wintertime, and you are going to be 15 years old and you don't have a lot of fat on your body, all I got to do is hold my little Oliver, my little Yorkie, hold his sweater up, and he come running, like, put this thing on, because these old bones is cold. Right? So anyway, so, so anyway, they said, yeah, okay, she did love that dog. I'm like, you didn't even know she had one. So he said he took it to the little rescue center. So the dog's being looked after. And they're like, oh no, Victor's on to her. She's probably dead. Means goodness gracious, it's gonna be on us. And I'm thinking, time to move, Watson, time to move. So then we get another knock on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Avon. Sonny's like, Anna, it's me. I'm like, what, Sonny? Okay, goodness, everybody know how to get up here to this safe house. I mean, was it one of Sonny's safe houses? I don't know. Maybe it was, because Sonny has a ton of different safe houses. Matter of fact, another person that knew where a lot of his safe houses were, Epiphany would come patch people up at the different safe houses, especially Jason. Goodness. She was Jason's private nurse. She would come through for Jason. Matter of fact, anybody else getting hurt, Jason couldn't go to the hospital. He called an Epiphany, and she's like, let me guess, another gunshot wound. And somebody else you can't take to the hospital. You know, she was something else. But anyway, so Sonny comes in and he lets them know that Eileen Ashby's, her body was found. He is the one who found it. Well, Dex did, but you know, Sonny taking credit for it. He's the one that found the body in the pier. And so Drew said, you know, that means your cover, he's on to you. Your cover's blown. And Sonny's like, yep. Because Eileen is dead and she gave up everything before she died. And so what Drew said is, well, one good thing she doesn't know about is me. He said me and somebody, but I forgot who else he said, but I do know Victor knows about Felicia. I think he said me and Felicia, but he knows about Felicia, so I don't know what he's talking about, right? She gave up Felicia. So this is going to be a hot mess. And then at the end, believe it or not, who Spencer left the hospital to go and see, he went to go meet his Uncle Victor in the park, ready to go to the next level, because all he's thinking about is Esme, framing Esme. He's getting ready to go in league with his uncle and put his own grandmother in mortal danger, and he's not going to even know that that's what's happening. But Spencer ain't going to have it. We're going to see. That's going to get ugly, Spencer. That's going to get ugly. So then we had the final, you know, throughout the whole show, but I'm wrapping it up at the end. Cameron was leaving. They did have a family breakfast. That food looked good, everybody. Them pancakes, oh my goodness. A nice spread. Laura showed up. Scott was in court. But we finally got to see Aiden and Jake. You know, Aiden made Cameron's special muffins that he loves so much. And Jake penciled a drawing for him, and Aiden and Violet, you know, pasted some little pasties on there. They made it of them. It was actually Jake did a picture of them, you know, so Cameron could take it and remember, you know, them. And Jake was like, hey, Cam, how much you gonna come back? Because I was really thinking of turning your room into an art studio. That's what I was really thinking of doing. And Cameron looked at him. He goes, well, I mean, I will come back. I just don't know how much. But, you know, in other words, I guess I could sleep, you know, have at it, brother. Why have it vacant? I mean, nothing in it for a whole year, hoping I come back maybe twice. Or I could simply just don't get rid of my bed, right? Put your easels and everything up around my bed. whatever. So anyway, his brothers hugged him, and Elizabeth kept busy because she was telling Laura how this was the hardest day for her, letting her oldest son go, and blah blah blah. So then when it was Violet was so cute, even though she's lost way more of her teeth. I see braces in her future. I really do. But they left. Finn and Violet had left, and Laura had left, and because of course she was on the pier with Eileen, dead body. But Cameron, when he was talking to Elizabeth, that was a little touching because he was all teary-eyed, and Elizabeth was like, Cameron, you've been with me since the beginning. It's always been me and you. And I'm thinking, yeah. And as soon as he got old enough, he was taking care of you, mommy. Yeah, he was. He was taking care of you when you should have been taking care of him. You know, all the way up until last week, Elizabeth, he was taking care of you. So anyway, he was like, you know what? I can't go. I can't go. Jake and Aiden still need me. I can't go. And you still need me. And I'm thinking, no, she's grown. Let her raise her other two sons. Let her do that. Right? So she goes, no, Cameron, you have done so much for me. You have done so much for your brothers. It's time for you to do something for you. So he realized, yeah, okay, you're right. But it was teary because, we know this was goodbye for him for the show. So it was a good little send-off. It really was a nice little send-off. I kind of thought they were going to have Emma Drake pop over and say, hey, I'm going back to California. When's your flight? We could fly back together. Hey, heard you were on XYZ airline. I booked me a seat. Then come on, let's go to the airport together. But, that didn't happen. I kind of thought it was, but it didn't happen. And then what was so crazy? When Trina was prepping Joss, trying to find out, who she was seeing, Dex comes in because it's rehearsal for the little, whatever they call them, Magic Milo and the Milettes, but Milo's not going to be dancing. Anyway, as soon as she saw him walk through the door, as soon as he saw her, so Trina's like looking at Jocelyn, looking at Dex, because she asked Jocelyn, do I know him? She said, no, not really, right? So she looks at Jocelyn's whole expression change, right? And she's looking at Dex, and Maxie comes in and ushers Dex out because he's in the wrong room for the rehearsal. And Trina just looks at Jocelyn and she goes, somebody I don't know him, huh? Yeah, I don't know him. So she figured it out. Anybody can figure it out. The way they're sitting up there doing Google, they're doing everything but, come on, silly. So, you guys aren't in high school. Now, Comment Corner, I'm not going to go through the whole Comment Corner because I am so surprised I did this well. I'm going to bed early tonight, but anyway, we had a bunch of appreciation in Comment Corner from a lot of people on how well most of us felt they did, with the memorial for Sonia, Eddie, and Epiphany. And then we had, people set me straight on the Hardyism. Yes, Elizabeth's father is Jeff Weber, but Jeff Weber's real father was Steve Hardy. So Jeff would actually, there is Hardy blood in him. So you all are right. It's Hardy, Hardy and as a head nurse back at General Hospital, we have another Hardy at the hospital. So they were right about that. Okay, so thank you so much for that history. Because and then people loved, how really pretty little Emma has grown up to be young. She's a young lady now, young lady. And then a lot of people were not too happy about Elizabeth being named head nurse after her Miss Blunders, her blunders and Miss Blunders and all kind of else blunders. But guess what? Elizabeth was the natural progression because they obviously are not, beefing up the nursing staff. And then in Comic Corner, they were brought out that the person that played the woman, the nurse that Epiphany saved, is Sonia Eddy's best friend, or was Sonia Eddy's best friend in real life. So that was nice that they gave her that little part so she could come in and tell, the story on how Epiphany died a hero. So that was real nice that they gave her that part. So that's about it. I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of General Hospital.